Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Today we're working on a second car that we gained from the scrapyard. This is the 1978 Bolt Chapman. We paid £8,256 for it, and we're currently losing money in its shape it currently is in. It's got a V8 one-carb engine, and it's time for the rebuild. If you missed the last episode, we actually did the 2009 Hinata Moon Mark II in the last episode, which went okay actually. I enjoyed rebuilding the car from scratch. We spent more than I expected, but we gained a decent profit, as you can see from our current balance. But this is our current rebuild. We're going to fast forward a lot of the stripping and the rebuilding. If you want to see that more in these videos, then let us know. We are going to do a lot more rebuilds as we go along, especially when the money starts making a lot more sense in terms of being able to buy more of these cars from scrapyards and barns. So that is the plan going forward, and as I explained in the last episode, the aim for track times and top speed and all that, we'll have a separate video every 5 or so cars to see who's in the top 5. That's the plan going forward. I also plan on not always talking over the sped up parts of taking everything apart and rebuilding, mainly because you can kind of see what's going on. I could sit here and narrate it, but I don't think it's what you guys will probably want. And I've sped up as much as possible. I could speed up more, but I didn't want to take away from the fact of what we're doing, and you wouldn't quite see everything. So it's kind of one of those. But if you are enjoying these videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and a like on the video does help as well. And we'll carry on taking this Bolt Chapman apart, and we will hopefully not run out of money this time. That was the big issue with the Hinata Moon. We made it work just, we had to sell a few rims, but I think we should have plenty this time. Fingers crossed. I would say there's probably more work to do on this car than there was on the Hinata Moon, just because of the amount of stuff that's no good, if that makes sense. The Hinata Moon, although it was missing lots, it just seemed, I don't know, we seemed to spend a lot of money on not very much, whereas this one, I don't know, I'm kind of in two minds of our total spend on this. I would hope 20,000 would be enough, but I'm not sure. Considering how much the Hinata Moon cost us, it's a difficult one to tell. But that is the engine out. We're doing well. There's only one other thing in the engine bay, and that is the base fuse box. And that is it. That is the car shell left. Obviously, we've still got bodywork, which we'll take off now. And looking at that straight away, we know we can't repair the bodywork. It's already red. Lights can't be replaced. We could, I think, we can actually fix the front bumper. That seems to be orange. So in theory, that can be fixed. That's a little money saver there. Windshield, we can't fix that. We can't fix glass. Rear window, again, orange, but we can't fix it. Trunk is orange. Oh, we might be able to fix the trunk. So there is a couple of savings to be made, and I think a lot of the parts are probably going to be on the edge between red and orange. So there is a chance the door can be fixed. That's always a bonus. But I think that is all the bodywork off. Didn't take that long, to be honest. And we'll put the engine on the engine stand and have a look at this. So it's got more parts than the Hinata Moon engine had to it, but none of it's any good. So let's take all the gear box sides and stuff off. So the clutch plate, the pressure plate, and the flywheel. Okay, what have we got left? We've got the crankshaft left inside. We've got some pistons and piston rings. That's still in the engine. That's a bonus. Unfortunately, they can't be fixed either. So there's no point trying to do anything with those. I'm looking forward to when we get a scrap building, when we get ready to upgrade cars, because the amount of scrap we could probably make with these rebuilds, the amount of rubbish that you can't reuse or fix, I think we'll do well with keeping on top of our scrap amounts, unless we get loads of cars that we need to start up. But we're only going to start cars once we do the same one with the same engine again. So, luck of the draw. It will depend on how the cars fall for us. So we just need to take the timing chain off now, and the cam gear, and then we should be able to take out the crankshaft. There we go, crankshaft is off, and we've got the camshaft as well. And last but not least, the engine block itself, which can be fixed. That's a massive bonus. So we've gone away and fixed everything that we could possibly fix, and now we're going to quickly weld the car. This automatically increases the value, and it does make the car look 10 times better really quickly. There we go. Car is welded. I'm not a massive fan of the brown, I don't think. I don't know. It's kind of a bit weird colour. So now we can start rebuilding the engine. As always, we haven't got all the parts. We've only got what we had and what I've managed to get out of the warehouse, which isn't a massive amount. So we'll have to buy as we go, and this will be sped up until we're done. So we'll see you in a minute. So there's the engine done, or so we think. Now, you may have spotted a glaring error. I'm not going to point it out, but it is very obvious what we've not done as we finish off the gear side of the engine. We'll come to that shortly. So we're going to take the engine off the stand, ready to put back in the car. But yeah, there is an obvious issue and a mistake we've made. But you'll see why and how and what happens with it shortly. I kicked myself afterwards, honestly. Very, very hard. So we're going to start putting the car back together. If I can get the controls to work the way I want them to. We'll start with the suspension, and once more we're going to speed up the rebuild process. But it's everything we took off, putting back on, this time nice and shiny, and nice and lubricated. So hopefully the car should run nicely. Again, we'll speed this up, and I'll see you when this is done. So as we just add the liquids in now, we still haven't spotted our massive glaring error. But we're about to. So, we've filled all the liquids up. The car is finished essentially, bar bodywork and wheels. And then I realised I need to put the oil in the car. And I can't find the oil refill cap. I spent a long time looking for this. And then I accidentally, as looking for this cap, just happened to hover over the valve push rods. And I haven't actually put them in. So there is no oil fill cap because I'm not finished building the engine. I've missed all of these parts. It was a really silly error, admittedly. It cost me a lot of time. But at least we managed to figure out before we try and solve the car. I don't know if you can sell the car when it's not fully finished, because it's not going back to a customer. And I know you can't give a customer's car back unless the job is finished. I'm not sure that's selling your cars. But luckily, because we hadn't put the oil in, I did spot the mistake. It did take me a fair while though. So obviously I sped up fixing my mistake. I don't know why I didn't spot it when we rebuilt the engine. The fact there was no engine covers should have been an obvious error. For some reason I didn't spot it. We actually ended up taking out the dipstick several times just to see, right, there's a dipstick, so oil must go in. I just didn't click. It took a very long time. Hopefully it's an error we won't make again. I can't guarantee it though, honestly. But yeah, it was a little bit of an issue. But there we go. That is the engine now near enough fully completed. Just the engine head to go on, the head cover. And that will have the engine oil refill plug on it as well. That's what I was looking for in the first place. And we now have it. So there we go. We can now put oil in the car. It was a nightmare. Honestly, it was an absolute nightmare trying to sort that out. It was just one of those weird things that you just don't realise until it's too late. But it's done. I think off recording, I think it's one of the bits I cut when we spent ages looking for this oil refill. We actually filled up the brake servo. Just in case anyone thinks we haven't filled it, we have. And there's a dipstick check. The amount of times the dipstick's been pulled out is something else entirely. Now, what is left to do? So we've got wheels to do, and we have bodywork and interior. Now, interior is one of these weird things. We could play around and put different interiors in. We didn't really with the Hinata Moon, we just put in standard. And I kind of think that's all I'm going to do going forward in terms of interiors. I don't see why we should spend lots of time doing fancy interiors. You only really see it once, and that's when you're driving it. And we don't drive it for very long. We do a hot lap, and we do 5 hot laps to be fair. We do hot laps and we do top speed. I don't think the interior matters so much. Obviously, we're going to always buy new. We're going to replace the old, although the Bolt Chapman didn't have any in it, admittedly. But yes, we're always going to replace them. We're always going to make new, and it all to be 100%. But I just don't see. I don't want to spend loads of time trying to pick different colours and stuff. And I don't even know if you can. I don't know if there is specific ones for specific cars. But that is all done. Now we're going to work on the wheels. We're speeding up once more. I've went and bought all the new tyres. They're vintage tyres as well. So I'm not holding out much hope for the test track, to be honest. But they're vintage tyres, as you can see, with a little white wall around them. So it looks quite nice. And now bodywork to go on. So a lot of this we had to buy new. We did have some of it. And you'll know the ones we had in our warehouse because they may be a different colour to the black. So anything black is bought new. Anything different to black, that isn't the brown base colour, is from the warehouse, like the blue boot. And all the lights and glasses obviously new. So we didn't save lots of money. I think as time goes on and we keep filling our warehouse with stuff from the scrapyard, stuff from the barns, some of these rebuilds will save a lot of money on bodywork and things because we'll have so much in there. I've got quite a lot in there now, but it's all of cars that we've not really looked at or found yet. But hopefully that will come to fruition later on. And there we go, that is new enough. All of the bodywork now done. What are we missing? I think it's just license plates. And the license plates for the Bolt Chapman is Wyoming in America. We can put the nice license plates on. Everything else is in, I'm pretty sure. I think there's a window missing there actually. Nice new number plate. Nice window. And side mirror. And one more license plate. I love how the car looks so shiny just when you've rebuilt it. I do really like that. It's just one of those things. So now we're going to go and colour the car. We're going to paint it. And this is what I came out with. I was saying at the start I wasn't a massive fan of the brown, but I went brown. It's a different shade of brown, admittedly, but it's, I don't know, it's something about an old style car. You've got to think this is a 1978 Bolt Chapman. It's vintage, it's classic. I went with a classic colour, you know, brown. I wasn't going to go bright yellow or anything, it wouldn't work. Well, the brown was quite nice. And the internals looks nice too. Now, we did make a mistake with the Hanata Moon. We couldn't do the wheels. We couldn't center them. So, I'm not making that mistake again. We are going to spend £10,000 on the test path, which will enable us to center the wheels. I know center is the wrong word, but I'll use that one. And we can also do the headlights. I don't know if you gain anything by being able to do the headlights and align the headlights. I'm assuming we'll get jobs for that later on. We haven't had one as of yet. But there we go, £10,000 on the test path, and we'll take the car there now. There we go. So this is our lovely Bolt Chapman, and this is the test path. So we can align the wheels. I said centre, didn't I? Align centre. Near enough. So we can align the wheels. And this will avoid what we had with the Hanata Moon, where it was going to the left. I had to keep correcting, even on the top speed test, which was a little bit annoying. So we're not going to show this every time, for every rebuild, but we're showing it because this is the first time we're doing it. So I think it's worthwhile just having a quick look. Fairly simple, just moving them left and right to make sure they're green. And that is all centered and nice. No more going to the left. Headlight alignment now. So this took a little couple of seconds for me to realise what we had to do. I'm still not au fait with exactly where you need to be. I know you can get it to go green and correct in several different places. It's all down to the height. You can actually make it go green a lot lower than we actually do on this one. So you obviously want to centre the brighter light in the middle, and then you need to bring it lower until the tick comes up instead of the red cross that you can see at the minute. We will get there, honestly. There we go. So that's kind of in the middle. But I know you can centre them a little bit lower than that. It doesn't really make any difference. You don't drive at night, you don't see the difference with them, so it's not too bad for us. And while we're at the test track, I thought, well, let's test out the test track. Let's actually do it. It's quite detailed, it's quite nice to look around in. And while we're here, let's actually use it. I know this car's 100%, it's not going to damage it, but at least it'll give us an experience of what would happen if we were to test the car in here. I wasn't exactly sure how to start the test path to start with. I started the engine thinking that might work, it didn't. But you actually have to, once you go down into the little basement area, there's a computer here to our right hand side. You can see it there flashing red because we haven't touched it yet. And we can proceed with the test path. So this test path is ideal for finding issues with the suspension and the braking systems. Braking systems are generally fairly visible anyway, so that's not a big deal. But the test path does show you any issues with the bushings, which is a big help when it comes to my Nemesis. I wouldn't say we use this probably as much as we probably should in terms of testing cars, mainly because a lot of the cars you get, especially from the scrapyard and things, don't start. If a car doesn't start, you can't use the test path. So it's one of those. I'm hoping to use it a bit more, other than just wheel alignment and headlight alignment. But we'll see going forward. Just as we do the last test on this brand new Bolt Chapman. Last suspension. And as expected, 100%. If it wasn't, I'd be worried, to be honest. But there you go. It shows you some of the things that will come up, like rubber bushing, shock absorbers, that kind of stuff. And this is our hot lap now. Okay, so we've done 2 laps. This is our 3rd lap of 5, and this turned out to be our best lap. The car itself handled fairly well. As I've said previously, the handling physics in the game aren't going to be top notch because it's not a racing game. It is meant for being a mechanic and rebuilding cars. The vintage tyres, on the other hand, they did lack grip. That was one thing I did find. The car itself was quite nice, but the tyres did lack a little bit of grip. We'd previously done a 209 and a exactly near enough dead 2 minutes. 0.00.488, but near enough. But this was the quickest lap of our 5 lap session. Obviously the rules are the same, maximum 5 laps, best lap is the time that counts. Same driver every time, i.e. me, and I try my hardest for all the cars. I'm hoping that we'll just see a gradual improvement in my driving. I can't guarantee it. Trying to keep the car straight was difficult, and also your braking point here is very difficult. But we managed to do really well with that corner. We went a little bit wide on exit, but I think not too bad. Now, with the Hanata Moon, our best lap was a 2 minutes and 4 seconds, 0.455, which I thought was good. We've already beaten that with our second lap, and this lap is going to be even quicker. Not many more corners to go. It's the last couple coming up. So this car is guaranteed to beat the Hanata Moon. Yes, the Hanata Moon was handicapped by its veering to the left hand side. It's something I might have to look at in terms of when we do another one. The 1-star build is a lot quicker. Then I'll probably have to redo the Hanata Moon lap time at some point. But here we go, as we cross the line, we're going to take a time of 1 minute 59.819 seconds. That's a really good time for a 1978 car. Yes, it's got a V8 1-carb engine, but it's still a really good time. Now, top speed. For comparison, the Hanata Moon in the last episode did 197 kilometers per hour, which was 122.41 miles per hour. Are we going to get close? 197 to beat. Only 2 cars in, and we'd have a new top scorer, a record holder. We're coming up to 197. We've beaten 197. So what can we stretch this lead to? I think we're kind of topping out the car now. The rev meter's not moving. We're kind of topping out. 215. And that's where it stops. 215 kilometers per hour, which in miles per hour is 133.595 miles per hour. I don't think that's too bad. I was pretty happy with that. It's a new top of the leaderboard car in both top speed and lap time. So this is our Bolt Chapman. The only thing that annoys me with these cars when you do the rebuilds is the mileage doesn't change. So we've rebuilt this car from scratch. It's not got anything brand new in it. Surely the mileage should change because everything's brand new. If we kept the old engine in, I get it, but we didn't. But the mileage on the main screen doesn't seem to change, which is a little bit frustrating. One thing we will do in the future once we have the dyno is also just have the measured power. It won't be any different to the factory power. It shouldn't be, because it's a natural rebuild as a factory rebuild, but it'd just be nice to have it there, hopefully. But that is the car. So shall we hit the numbers? The numbers make interesting reading. So we bought the car for £8,256. It's not bad. We spent a total of £28,223 on parts. That's including paint and everything else. That obviously doesn't include buying the test track. That's not a bad spend. I thought we'd spend about £20,000. So a little bit over my estimation. Our total spend including buying the car was £36,479. Now, I think that's not bad as a total spend, and we already seen what we could get for the car, the amount we could sell it for. I think it was, the screen should come up in a second, but I think the potential selling price was £56,469. As I say, not a bad profit margin. I think £36,500 spent in total. And it's a nice car. It's a nice classic. There we go. Confirmation. £56,469. So we will sell the car, and our total profit will be £19,990. It's not the biggest profit in the world. I'll give you that. Considering the Hanata Moon, we gained a £33,000 profit. So there's about a £13,000 difference between the Hanata Moon and the Bolt Chapman. I'm not sure if the valuations change over time, but as of currently, that was the price we could sell it for, so that's the price we'll sell it for. And as we go to sell it, thank you all very much for watching. Second rebuild done, and we'll be back next episode with another story car before hopefully going to get some more cars to rebuild very, very soon. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the episode, and a like on the episode does really help. We'll see you again very, very soon.